On the 29th of April 2020, an asteroid by the code of 1998 OR2 will make a close approach to the Earth. But this approach might be a little bit too close for comfort, as NASA has placed it as a potential dangerous hazard, as it's about 3,200 meters long. Where compared to the Empire State Building, it's about 3 times bigger. Where the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs was estimated to be as big as a city. But the closest approach that the asteroid will make is about 4 million miles, which is about 17 times further away from the Moon. So, at best on the Earth, you probably would only see the asteroid as a moving star. This hasn't been the only asteroid we've been aware of, in fact quite far from it. If we're only counting asteroids larger than 10 meters in our solar system, there's probably about 150 million. Places that you can find an abundance of asteroids in our own solar system is within a huge gap between Mars and Jupiter, a collection of rocks that orbit around our Sun called the asteroid belt. If one was to stand on one of the asteroids, you wouldn't see a magnificent collection like this. The asteroids are so spread apart between one another, you'd be lucky enough to see one within a mile. Discovered in 1801, Ceres was the first object to be discovered in this region, a small dwarf planet. And even for 50 years, it was considered to be the 5th planet from the Sun. Although this was re-evaluated when it was realised that Ceres had more in common with the asteroids. Near to the edge of our solar system, within the neighbourhood of Neptune, there's a huge collection of raw material and debris called the Kuiper Belt. This region of space is also home to an infamous reclassified dwarf planet. You might have heard of it. It's called Pluto. Several Kuiper Belt objects occasionally make a travel within our solar system, such as comets. Like asteroids, they are rocky, but they're filled with compounds such as ice, water, and gases. The most famous of these objects, Halley's Comet, passing by the Earth every 76 years, coincidentally always returning during a key moment in human history. The birth and death of Mark Twain, the 1066 invasion of England, in 1222 the invasion of Europe, and possibly the birth of Christ. These extraterrestrial objects come from the leftovers of the formation of our solar system. So the early days of our solar system could have looked something like this. 460 light years away, this exoplanet J147b, or just Super Saturn for short, with the ring span being half the distance between the Earth and the Sun. This planet has only existed for the span of several million years, so it will take about 100 million before the rings are completely gone. The material that orbits around the planet will one day fully form to become the moons of the planet. As much as we've established as to how asteroids can bring about destruction and death, but they can also be the building blocks for creating worlds and perhaps carrying some essential assets. Apollo 12 was tasked to retrieve a Surveyor, a robotic instrument that was launched on the Moon some 3 years earlier. When pieces of the instrument returned back to the Earth, they found in the camera system for when it was originally assembled that it had been contaminated by bacteria. Once the bacteria was placed back into normal conditions, it sprung back to life as if nothing ever happened, being able to survive within the vacuum of space. With micro-life seeming indestructible, this info has brought forward an intriguing but then yet controversial theory. The concept goes, if Mars did indeed once had life, some several billion years ago, that after a large meteor impact, the debris from the planet would be launched into space. Eventually, the material would find itself making its way to Earth. Once landed, the surviving microbes would pollinate and prosper on a whole new world. We have found debris of rocks that did originate from Mars, and scientists do acknowledge it as a realm of possibility. But if it did actually happen, is still unanswered. I suppose it is daunting once you think of the magnitude of how small and vulnerable our planet can be. Taking nothing more but a big asteroid, not even the 10th of the size of our planet, to do some major damage. But thankfully so far in recent human history, every prediction of an asteroid impact hasn't come true. But then yet again, there is a first for everything.